Okay, so I'm going to do this video in two parts. First part is going to be the setup video. Part two is going to be the use of certain modifiers and arrays. So first things first, let's have a little look at the environment that we're working in today. If you hit F10 on your keyboard, so basically open up the prepared file that I've left on Teams for you, and then hit F10 on your keyboard, and up pops the render scene dialog, and you'll see that I've got the Arnold renderer currently being selected. I'm setting a output size HDTV video at 960. I typed that in myself and hit tab to get this particular size and ratio. Helps with speeding up the renderer. Arnold render settings, I've left them as is. There's a whole bunch that we won't be using, so that's a 0. Subsurface scattering, we'll not be using that to 0. Specularity and diffuse we'll leave on. So they're pretty low settings, but they'll do for what we need. Okay, so that's our setup window. Our environment tab, which is 8, has got a physical sun and sky environment in here. This has been set up in the material window, so I'll just hit M to pull up the material window. And inside here I'm only using 2 materials in the whole scene. Any geometry is having the standard Arnold surface applied to it, and it's just a base white surface with a little bit of roughness so that we don't have any kind of additional specular shine. The only light source in the scene is coming from this physical sun and sky map, and that has been linked up to the environment map. So basically we're getting all our lighting solution from this particular physical sun and sky. I've pretty much set up the settings that are fast and useful for you here: logarithmic control, brightness at 70, etc. Ticked exterior daylight. So you can examine those settings if you want, or you can just accept them out of the can as working parameters for what you're doing. So one material, one light source. The light source is being fed through the environment map, which is available in environment and in effects via the 8 key. Okay, so nice and straightforward. In the scene itself, I've got my AI bot, which is 190 centimeters high. That's our kind of scale reference. And I've got a ground plane, and I've got something called a sun positioner. That's part of the physical sky. I'll just show you real quick. That's part of the physical sky, sun and sky setup, and it is available when you tick one of these little tiny buttons somewhere in here. It says, oh yeah, sun position widget create. So I created it, just clicked create. Once you've done that, it appears in your scene. I'll just hopefully be able to zoom in on it. There it is. And I just hit Z then. I couldn't see it, so I had to hit Z to see it. And basically, through this particular widget, as they call it, you can rotate the position of the sun or the sky, etc. Or, as I have done, you can select somewhere on Earth. So you can select a particular setting on Earth. And what I've chosen is Manchester at 2 o'clock in the afternoon on the 21st of June 2021. So you can choose your own day, month, year, etc. Various settings in here that you can experiment with, but as I say, they're pretty much set up for you. So that's the only thing. I'll just hide that for the moment. They're the only things in the scene. I'll hit Z to zoom in on there. There is one other thing that I've hidden, which is the cameras, but we'll come back to that another time. So there's my cameras. You can't see them, but they're in the scene. I'll just turn them off for the time being using the Scene Explorer, and I've unchecked a whole bunch of things here so that I'm only activating the things that I actually need in the scene. Okay, so quick F9 to show you my render dialog, my fast render, and you can see it's pretty fast. Gives you a sun study, it's pretty quick, and it gives you a nice kind of study of light, shade, and form, which is what we're after. So that's the environment setup. That's kind of like part one. So part two begins now, 5 minutes in. Part two is pretty much just a modelling exercise, and what I'll do is I'll skip to another video to pick up from this point forward. Okay, see you on the other side.